guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis. Look at this, we have a new box in today to show you. Thanks for subscribing and hanging out and checking out all the latest and greatest drones. Today we have another addition to the micro invasion. We have the WARLARK 80, little FPV quad. It's set up for a few different types of receivers. You can get one for your DSMX, you can get one for FrSky, you can get one for Futuba, or you can get a receiver for FLYSKY. So FLYSKY guys, not left out in the dark on this one. And what makes this one different than some of the other ones that I've showed you on the channel is that this one comes with OSD and Betaflight already pre-installed. That's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and open up the box and I'll show you what comes with the WARLARK 80. Okay, so that's everything that comes in the box, and like I said, it does have Betaflight on here, and so that's super cool. And it is a little bit larger, quite a bit larger than my other build. The props are even a little bit bigger. So when I was flying this earlier and testing it, just flying it around here in the studio, it really was stable in that angle mode, and that's probably what I'm going to fly it in. I'm probably not going to fly it in any of the other modes. I might test it out in acro just for fun outdoors, because it is a little larger than the Tiny Whoop and I handle a little bit more wind. So and I'm expecting around a 5-minute flight time off this little battery. This is a 300 milliamp 1S battery that comes along with it. These are pretty cheap. You can get these on GearBest or Amazon pretty cheap ones. You can get 6 packs for around $15, I believe, maybe even cheaper. Now the neat thing about it is underneath the canopy, let's go ahead and pop this canopy off for you and show you how this setup here is. We have the dipole antenna right here for your video signal. You've got your signal to your aircraft here on 2.4, and it is an S-bus receiver on here, this FrSky S-bus receiver. And then the cool thing about this one is it does have larger motors than the Tiny Whoop. The standard Inductrix FPV comes with 6mm motors, and this has 7. It's a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier, so it probably needs that extra millimeter size motor. Now the cool thing about this one also is that it has that lowrider camera, like I always tell you guys about on this other frame that I built. Everyone's asking me how to do that. There's a different camera mount you can get for that on rackandheli.com, but this one is neat because it's adjustable under here. There's 2 little screws here that you can loosen up with a screwdriver, and you can adjust your camera angle. So you can put it straight on, and it looks like it comes with a little bit of tilt. So I think I'm gonna leave mine just like that, and that's how I'm gonna fly mine. So you also get an extra set of props in the box. 4 extra props here. You get another piece of Velcro in here, maybe to put on your battery, but not really needed. And you get your little charger here for this hub stand style connector. If you have other hub stand batteries, it's probably going to be compatible with this as long as it's a 1S battery. Now the flight controller on this one is pretty neat because the VTX is actually coming from the top and it plugs right into the flight controller here. So this VTX was built specifically for this flight controller that's running the latest, I believe it's October 2016 SP Race and Betaflight. So we're running an F3 board on this, and it's actually really cool. So up in the front here is where you can change your channels on your VTX. You can also do that inside the transmitter, and this is also the bind button for binding up your FrSky receiver. There's a little USB port in the very back here. It's kind of tucked underneath the power cable. Go ahead and move the power cable up and plug in your USB. Open up Betaflight. Let's go ahead and get this quad tuned up in Betaflight and ready to go. Now when you come into Betaflight, you should see your orientation screen here first and your setup. Go ahead and check out your orientations left and right, forward and back. Everything seems good there. Now I also have a 350 milliamp battery, and this actually fits up inside the bay, so I can use that as well. I already have my Tyrannus on, and the quad is already bound up, so I'm going to show you the receiver settings as well there. And we'll go ahead and set the quad flat. And we'll go into the ports first. The ports are set to UART1 here and 0RX on UART2 for the FrSky setup. We're set to Quad X there. Brushed is set up. Motor stop, I'll leave that on. That way the motors don't spool up when I turn on the quad, when I arm it. And we'll go to Failsafe. I'll check out my Failsafe. You always want to bench test that before you go out and fly. I've got mine set to drop. That's totally fine. If you make any settings, be sure to save and reboot. Now we'll go to PID tuning. I have, let's see, 70, 70, and 0.1 there for the rates. The RC rates are set to 1.0. All the PIDs, I'm just going to leave factory PID settings there. We're going to go down to receiver, and I should see that everything works out here. I've got yaw going to the left and right there. Those values are correct. Throttle is on the right channel. And our channel map over here is set to default. TAER 1234 is what mine's set on. Now my roll on the right stick, left and right, that's correct. Pitch is forward, up, and down should be down, just like that. I want to check out my mode switch. Mode is on auxiliary 2, and my arm switch is going to be on auxiliary 3. So we'll go down to modes, and the way they have this set up from the factory is angle mode is set all the way across the bar. And you can leave that set up. If you want to fly an angle, that's totally fine. I've got mine to set up to arm up at this top bar right here. You see this little yellow dot right here. If you're new to this, I'm outside the arm mode there, and when it's inside the yellow bar over here, it goes all the way to the end for some reason. Normally it will stop about here, but this is when the quad is armed, and when I move the throttle, I get a little bit of motor action there. So everything is good there. Go ahead and save it. Okay guys, now you're looking at that awesome OSD that comes along with this little tiny whoop, and this is kind of different for something this small. This is really cool that they included this on this little quad. You can see that horizon line in the middle there when I move the quad, and underneath there you have the armed or disarmed menu. It'll change to armed when you flip your arm switch, if you're using an arm switch. Up at the top left we have the mode that you're in. If you switch between your modes, you'll see that change. I only have stability and angle mode set up right now, so you're not going to see that change when I change my Tyrannus. Now down at the bottom left we have the battery voltage. I'm at 3.4, and on the bottom right we have the time that the battery's been plugged in. So let's show you how to get in that cool menu. I'm going to go ahead and take my transmitter stick and move it to right in the center, and I'm going to move it over to the right, and now the right stick up to the top right, and it'll put me in this different menu here. Now I can go in and change some of the quad settings. Using my throttle stick, I can page over, and I can go over to the next page. Sometimes if it freezes up, it might be getting a little bit hot, so you might want to do this kind of quick. So we'll go up to where it says cells, and you can do that by using the right stick to move up and down. Now if you want to make an adjustment or a change, you can use the throttle stick to the right or to the left, and make sure that cells is set to 1, because mine was set to 4. Now up top here, main volts alarm, this was set pretty high to around 130. Change that down to 1, or your on-screen display is going to show your battery low voltage the whole time you're flying from the very first flight. So that's about it for the settings right now. I'm going to leave everything the way it is right there. Going to go ahead and save and exit, and I am good to go fly. So let's go outside and do a little flying with the WARLARK.